Short one today. Good morning. Um, Had some negative videos. Had some positive. I want this one to be positive. About negative things. I serve my community via an HOA board. A lot of people would find that counterintuitive. But being on an HOA board is important to me because I am in my community. I am part of the HOA, whether I want to be or not. And I chose to live here, so I'm going to be part of the HOA. And I want to make sure that the HOA limits itself from getting out of hand. I'm proud to say that we are one of the lowest annual dues HOAs in our area. And I want to continue that tradition, for lack of a better word. I know one person who moved here because the dues were low. But that's just kind of a separate subject. I love my community. And the thing that I have learned about people while serving my HOA is the idiom, squeaky wheel gets the oil. There are people in the HOA that you learn the names of fairly quickly. They are vocal. They can be positive or negative. A lot of them are negative. But you learn their names. Not out of any desire to know the people, just because they are very vocal. And if you let yourself focus on the negativity that a small group of people provide, you can start to become pessimistic about all of humankind. So, while serving my community, the people who are around me, my fellow community servers on the HOA board, I try and remind whenever I think it's appropriate. There are 10, 11, 15 people that we're having problems with. But there are over 600 people, residencies in this HOA. Over 600. So as long as we're only having problems with, 10, 15 people, I think we're doing a pretty good job keeping everybody happy. We're never going to keep everybody happy. There's always going to be one person that is angry that they got a letter stating that they need to wash their house. I'm one of those people. When I got the letter, I walked around the corner of my house. I said, what are they talking about? I need to wash my house. And I looked up, and it's part of the house I never look at. I walk under it 2 or 3 times a week. But who looks up to look at their house? Well, I needed to clean my house. So I did. And that's when I recognized that these letters should be reminders. The second letter usually comes with a fine, which kind of hurts, but you get the first letter, take care of it. I took care of it myself, got out the pressure washer, washed the house. I could have gotten very angry, but instead I chose to look at the letter as a reminder. Oh, someone said I need to wash my house, so let me wash my house. But my point is, there's 600 people in this neighborhood. And for the most part, most of the people just want to live their lives. The HOA's job is to, number one, preserve community property value. Everybody's property value. Not just the community property, but everybody who's a member of the community owns property. The job of an HOA is to preserve that property value. Second, and this is just an opinion, and so far all board members that I've dealt with have had the same opinion. The second objective is to build community, which we strive to do. We've taken a few steps forward and a few steps back at times, but that's the goal. Beyond preserving property value is building community. So we're doing that. And the community grows and becomes stronger. And that actually increases property value on its own right. If you have a great community, a strong community, a community that comes together for holidays, a community that has a barbecue once or twice a year, that becomes something attractive to prospective home buyers. And for the most part, the community comes together for that. You start seeing the same positive people at all these gatherings. And you start learning, oh, this person's going to show up. And they're going to bring their kids, and these are their kids, and they're having a good time, and they're using the gatherings that we call it an events committee, that the events committee sets up. And that's a wonderful thing to see, and that is heartening. But today, my objective is to remind myself and everybody around me there are more people that are either happy or going through life minding their own business, trying to do the best they can and provide the best life that they can provide, or the very small minority of people that are grumpy and angry and not wanting to be part of the community but wanting to tear the community down. That is a minute percentage of any community. I drive a truck for a living. I'm a truck driver. And there's no place that's more apparent than on the roads of America. There's some days you're out there driving and you get cut off 13 or 14 times. And you're like, what is going on today? Why am I? And the only way that you can deal with that and not go away angry, not be so frustrated and angry at every driver you meet, is to recognize, okay, I got cut off by 13, 14 people, but I dealt with thousands of people today. Thousands of people. In trucking, one of the most important things is where you come into interactions with other cars. And that would be like intersections are problematic. The stop lines. The highway department puts these stop lines at intersections to give trucks enough turning space to go and make a left turn or right turn. The right turns are really problematic. And when a car crosses that white line and you come to it, a lot of times you have to sit and wait for a cycle of the light to change or for that car to go if it's a stop sign before you can make your turn. It used to make me so angry when they came across the white line. But you have to realize, I had to realize, that's not out of maliciousness. They're trying to get the best line of sight they can before they accelerate through the intersection. I had to recognize they're not being malicious. They're not being, selfish. They are just trying to do the best job they can. most people don't understand that trucks need that much space. I'm sure that when someone looks at a truck and they think, oh, there's a truck, I better leave him a lot of extra space. They don't think that. They think, all right, there's a truck coming up and I need to turn left and now I can't see around the truck, so I'm going to ease up past this line so I can see around the truck. They're not being malicious. They're just trying to do their job at that point of driving. They're doing it wrong. But they're not being malicious. They're just not aware of what it takes. A truck turning right has to swing so far out into the intersection to make that right-hand turn so that he doesn't jump the curb with his trailer tires, hit a pole, stop sign, light post, whatever. And people don't understand that space in front of that white line, the truck is going to use to make his turn. It's just physics. But that person doesn't know what they're doing, doesn't understand. And I had to stop putting that in the category of someone who's being selfish. Most people are just going through life trying to be happy. The problem is the people who are being jerks are the ones that stand out. And if you run into 13 or 14 jerks in one day, the problem is you start thinking everybody's a jerk. Recognize how many people you dealt with that day. I bet it was thousands. I bet it was thousands. Just unless you're in an office cubicle and you never leave your cubicle, you're dealing with people constantly. You're walking past them. You're standing in line behind and in front of them. You are just interacting on a level that most of us don't recognize. Most people are good. Most people want what's best for them and their family, and then for you. The problem is the jerks, the people who stand out. But that's not most people. Most people are good people. I have to believe that. And when I stand back at the end of a day and I look back on my day and I've had a rough day of interactions with those jerks, well, I have to look beyond those jerks at all the people around them. It's the only way I could be part of an HOA, is to recognize that most people in the HOA are good people. Most people on the highways of America are good people. Most people everywhere are good people. It's the people, the bad people, the selfish people, the jerks who stand out. So yes, recognize those people, but don't forget to recognize all the people who surround the bad people, because there's a lot more good people than bad people. And now it's time to go drywall. Y'all have a great weekend.